Welcome to Connect and Collaborate. I'm Alex Hopkins, your on-air producer, and I'm very excited for this week. We are talking with Colorado Business Roundtable board members as they just recently released their board that they started this year after we became a nonprofit last year. So lots of things going on with Colorado Business Roundtable, and I have one of our very important board members in studio with me, Becky Takeda-Tinker with CSU Global. How are you, Becky?
Great. Thank you for having me here today.
Yes, absolutely. And we've had you on several times to talk about different events that we've got going on, and we've had a partnership with you guys for quite some time. So it was exciting to get you on the board with us.
Thank you.
Yes. So, you know, I did mention that you have been here several times, but maybe a little refresher for our audience on your background and how you became where you are at CSU Global.
Sure. So I am the president of CSU Global, Colorado State University Global Campus. We are a completely independent, fully accredited institution under the CSU system, governed by the Board of Governors that oversees also CSU in Fort Collins and CSU Pueblo. We I'm now serving over 20,000 students. We've graduated over 15,000 now. So we just continue to grow. We are not state funded, which makes our place in the system a little different, but it really makes us very good at what we do, because if we're not, we won't survive. And so there's nothing like putting the test every day towards our students. And our mission is also very different from more traditional institutions. It is clearly aligned with non-traditional modern students as we look at them, an average age of 35. For workplace success, we're highly focused in that area, which makes such great sense then for us to be a part of the Colorado Business Roundtable.
Which you took the words right out of my mouth there. I was going to say, you know, one of our big focuses is on this workforce development and education, right? Those are both big for the Colorado Business Roundtable to work on, and we work on those entities every day. And it's really nice that we have such a great partnership with CSU Global and with you specifically, Becky. I want to point out, too, again, you mentioned that you're not state funded, and yet you still have very affordable tuition at CSU Global, which is an amazing feat in and of itself. If you don't mind talking just a little bit about that.
Yeah.
The affordability is awesome.
Right. So once a student starts with us, the rate remains the same until they complete. They pay only on a per credit basis for their tuition, so you're only paying when you're in class. We have not increased our tuition rates for 7 years. We're entering now our 8th year into that and into next year. So we have an eye towards what it takes in a very thoughtful way for non-traditional adult learners to actually be successful in the workplace through higher ed. We find that the education of higher education is very important, but in a way that aligns with workplace needs. And so we have this real different lens. The courses that we create, we use program advisory board members to work with our faculty, so they're industry leaders. And I think COBRT comes in very handy in that area. And then we build our courses looking at what are the industry certifications so that we can make sure that they align with what we're teaching. And then we use industry tools so that our students, once they complete a class or a program, they're plug and play into the workplace. And so again, it's that intentionality of looking at, because we measure, so this is also a little unusual, but we are measuring our cohorts of graduates every single year post-graduation. And we get the data from third-party reporting, credit bureau reporting. They look 3 years prior to graduation and then every year after. And so we make sure that our cohorts every year are continuing to increase in pay. So for us, workplace success has a lot to do with compensation and the ability for them to earn a living wage to feed themselves and their families. So while we may not have all types of degree programs, we're very focused on those areas where we know that there's employment opportunities, upward mobility, and good levels of pay so that they can have a comfortable life.
Absolutely, which is imperative, right? And there's a huge discussion going on about the affordability of schooling, right?
Yes.
And there are lots of people that take many, many different paths to get to their careers, whether you go at 18 right into a four-year institution, or you wait until you're 30 and you go back to school and do an associate's degree, right? Everyone has their own path. And the nice thing that you guys are doing is that you're making it affordable. And I love that you're looking specifically into each industry, right? Which is why this relationship with us came about so easily, because we have the insight on those businesses that need employees.
When we think about the partners currently, or the members of the Colorado Business Roundtable, they align with even the partners that CSU Global has for our affiliate program, wherein if you're an affiliate, there's a 10% tuition discount for all the employees, which stays, again, until they graduate, so that we can forecast how much their education is going to cost them. They know what it will be before they even start with us. So, let's see, we look at DaVita, Boeing, Lockheed, and those are all affiliate partners of CSU Global, but also members of Colorado Business Roundtable. And so when we think about new programs and are looking for guidance, we even met with Siemens, one of the members of the roundtable, to look at this whole area of operations, factory type production work, and what are the new trends and how do we need to be training for the future, so that we're offering something that they would feel comfortable offering their employees and things that would help them fill jobs. And so that is the pathway when we think about the partnership and why we're with the Colorado Business Roundtable. It is that intentionality and real relationship building that goes on to have frank conversations. We don't want to create something that has no real need for the students that, or whatever they're learning, that there's not that applicability that we are looking. I mean, we're looking for straight lines, connecting the dots. And so having those real relationships and building those over time allows us to be really honest with each other. And so that I'm not using our precious funds, creating something that there's real no alignment with what we're really trying to achieve based on our mission. And being the goal-focused organization that we are, there's so much effort that we put behind everything we do, and then we measure everything along the way and we keep improving it, that we don't want to get off track. And so working with the members inside of the roundtable has been really helpful for us.
Which is wonderful, and thank you for such kind words that we're able to help that. But I think that we're really making a difference with this partnership here, right? And not just with CSU Global, but as you mentioned, Boeing and Lockheed Martin, and there are several industries, right, that can come together, and we can be real and talk at the table and say, you know what, it's wonderful that you've taught Cursive Writing 101. But nobody needs it anymore. Let's go ahead and get rid of that.
Right. When I think about the relationships that we continue to create, and the reason that we're with the Colorado Business Roundtable is also because of the fact that it helps us as an institution stay up with the pace of change that's happening in industry and in business. And so we're with the constant exposure that we have with all the different events that the Colorado Business Roundtable has, all of my team, my senior leaders are constantly exposed to all the new things going on all the time inside of industry, so that we don't end up in an ivory tower. No matter how large or successful we become, there's still so much work to be done when we think about our role in serving Colorado, in serving students, and helping ensuring workplace success for business. So that has also been really helpful. And when I think about the relationship building and where we've ended up, we've actually been able to do some reviews of organizational training for some of our members so that we could provide credit in transfer for bachelor's degrees for the elective credit area. We've worked with the apprenticeships and internships, which have been really interesting as we get more and more into customization of those as it suits individual members and their businesses. And so that, again, helps people help themselves, helps business fill jobs, and the roundtable really makes that whole circle. And so it's appropriately named, and we are really honored, and I feel very fortunate to have been included in the Colorado Business Roundtable and appreciate the opportunities that it provides.
Oh, well, thank you very much. We are honored to have you with us. We have a very nice board, a rounded out board membership, I like to think. And was there personal reason, and you mentioned all the great reasons for why CSU Global and COBRT coincide, but was there something for you personally that you were like, you know what, I really need to jump on this opportunity?
Yeah, with time as precious as it is, you can imagine running a state nonprofit institution without state funds. It's very quick. And so not only am I able to keep up, and feel that I'm in the loop on what's going on outside of the institution. Higher ed tends to run slower even than, global runs fast, but still when you think about the technical, high-tech industry, or healthcare, that's all changing so rapidly that in fact I'm able to keep that pace. But for me to be able to be around really innovative, creative thinkers who are truly there to partner. And I think that's the most valuable thing. I go to a lot of events, that is part of my role, and I enjoy them all. But the Colorado Business Roundtable, everybody's there to truly come together for partnerships and collaboration that have a return on investment of time and effort. And so when I think about where I have extra time and to be able to work with another roundtable member on a real project that'll have a real outcome that I can measure, we're all about how are we doing at Global. And so it's really very valuable, my time that I spend with roundtable events with the people and even with the leadership, that in fact they understand that my motivation is really to move things forward in a collaborative way. And I've had such great opportunities to meet people in business that coming from a higher ed institution I might not normally have been able to get to, or certainly as quickly. I mean, I make one phone call and I've got then, to the Colorado Business Roundtable leadership, and suddenly I've got connected, and I've got the email and the phone number, and away I can go, where that might take me 6 months of intense effort trying to wind my way to the right people. So.
Right. I love that we can provide that for you. And the nice thing about the team membership here is it's a 2-person team. Right? Isn't that crazy to think about?
Maybe that's why the response is so fast. I don't have to go through 12 departments, but
exactly,
really responsive leadership of that and ownership. Gail has done such a great job in making sure that the Colorado Business Roundtable stays aligned with what it was truly created to be and to achieve.
Right. Yeah, we're here to make those connections because a rising tide raises all boats. I use that a lot in here. I say that almost every episode, but it's very true, right? That's the art of collaboration doesn't leave anybody behind, and I think that's a great motto to have, and that's why we are so honored to partner with people like CSU Global, and we get a lot out of our partnership with you too, right? And we're able to help create these customized events that you guys have going on, which we do have one coming up.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yeah, CSU Global started at the very beginning with the roundtable. We were just attending events, and then we started sponsoring some of your events. They would bring me ideas, and we'd say, sure, we can be a sponsor. And then we started creating our own events. So we have coming up the cybersecurity event in October, the end of October, on the 30th. It's in the morning at the Colorado History Museum. So that will be a really fun event, but it has brought together, when we think about Colorado Business Roundtable and the nationwide network that it has, to be able to bring in the players that it has, Deloitte, Microsoft, IBM, big players in this area of cybersecurity. And when we think about global and how CSU Global and how every thing that we do needs to have this practicality application to it, that it's not just a theoretical event. It is truly about, for leaders, on what are the best practices, where is cybersecurity headed, what do they need to be thinking and planning for. So very tangible outcomes, and to be able to collaborate with the Colorado Business Roundtable and them to be able to pull in their own members, and then from around the nation, the members who understand this idea of we are here to get real things done and move the economy forward, move business forward, that we even have, because we've run this before, this is the second time we've run this event, that the event the first time around had these very practical-minded but experts in this area of cybersecurity, but could break things down so that even I, as maybe not the most technically advanced leader, I get that we're fully online. I have great people that understand how to make everything work in a way that I can use it, and if I can use it, then anybody can do it. So when I was at the event the first time around, I was just impressed that I understood the areas that we needed to really hone in on and where cybersecurity was going and how I would actually build the right type of infrastructure. And I don't need people, but consultants and experts, and how those all get looped together from the first one that we did. And so the second one should be even better now that we've run through that. And we could not have done this in such short order with the type of experts that we'll have at this panel and event without the Colorado Business Roundtable. So thank you.
Yeah.
And then from there, being able to be asked on the board, when I think about our trajectory and my involvement in the roundtable, has really then led me to be on the board, because I really want to make sure that I help lead in the vein under which the Colorado Business Roundtable first came to Colorado, which is that everybody that's present, it really understands that we are really coming together as senior leaders who can make decisions and make things happen together. And that we're not just there, although it's great to have some socialization and that, but there really is this idea of return on investment of time and being able to really talk to each other frankly about what we need, and are we a match or are we not? Let's talk to the next person so that we can all get what we need. We've worked with some of the partners on grant applications where we're looking at workforce and how we help, and have some new ideas, and that the members are able to come in and say, sure, we can be on that grant app, and yes, we could be a test case for that. So that is, as a board member, the real purpose for my leadership is to help ensure the integrity of that. And then I also just find, because we're more so like-minded, that it's fun. It's not work to go to networking type events. I don't think that the Colorado Business Roundtable just has an event just for networking. I mean, it really is. It's always centered around some real content and takeaway value, so that we know what we're showing up for. But there's always that time where we're really talking, and that is networking in the most effective way possible, particularly for me. So thank you for all of that.
Yes, if Jeff were here, he'd be blushing away. I tell you that much. But that's so great to hear, and you're not the first person to say with our events that we really do tailor them specifically for each company that we partner with on those specific events. We have a purpose behind them. It's not just to stab your card in somebody's face, right? It's to get things done, and it's to inform people and educate people about what's going on currently.
And the speakers are usually well vetted. I mean, it's not aimless. Even when you actually show up at the event, and even with a structure and an agenda, that the representatives or whatever the guests that you're having there are very clear what they're supposed to be conveying, and it gets achieved. So I feel like it's a good use of my time, and then I can go on with the rest of my day or conclude my day and move on to my evenings. So they've been very thoughtfully done with great work, even if it's just two people, on putting these types of events together so that they're worthwhile in our busy life, and oh my gosh, with traffic.
Oh goodness. Well,
if I'm going to drive all the way downtown and get to an event, it better be worth it.
I 100% agreed. And I will say, in the planning process for things like that, we do specifically choose our venues based on things like that, right? So we're going to be at History Colorado October 30th for the cybersecurity event, and that's in the morning. It's 7 to 9 a.m., right? And there will be free breakfast, by the way. But I
hope that gives people an opportunity to meet each other there. I know that they won't all be Colorado Roundtable members. We are inviting the external audience, and we're doing this in partnership with the Denver Business Journal, so that we can get to the senior leaders. We, as CSU Global, are here to serve Colorado in every way possible. And so to be able to do that in collaboration with the Business Roundtable, with all the immense help, and of course, who doesn't love the Denver Business Journal, that the three of us can actually put this together and help ensure the integrity of the technical operations of all of our businesses and industry players.
Yes, and it's so great to have partners like yourself that see the real value that we bring, right? And I have not been in any board meetings, and rightfully so. I don't need to be there. That's one of the things too, that they made sure that they vetted the right people to be on this board.
There was a lot of thought about what each of us could bring to the table. Literally to the table. And then we have discussions in an open and honest way. It's not perfunctory. It is truly intentional on who's on the board and who's been invited and how we are looking to grow. So the next phase, of course, is what is the next strategic plan and who are the members that we need to achieve that, as we look at moving all types of industries and leaders forward. So I'm really excited about the future on the board and where we're going to go and what we could really offer Colorado that really currently isn't being done with this narrow focus.
Exactly, and it's nice that we can be both niche in general with this board, right? We touch on lots of industries, but we can focus on each of those industries and their needs in a very precise manner. We get down to the nitty gritty and what do you need out of this, right? Let's take a look at education, and then we can have a focus group specifically for education, right? Specifically for workforce development.
Yes. Yeah. And when you think about your founder, I mean, Gail Denninger is an amazing thought leader in Colorado, and he has always wanted to have a group of people come together that whenever they come together, there's intentionality and a real return on investment. And that just aligns with CSU Global's philosophy about return on investment for education. Now we're doing it for networking and community building, which is what's going on with the Colorado Business Roundtable. So great leadership and that we have, and I look forward to seeing where we go with this.
I do too. I actually am very excited. We do have a few minutes left here. I know we have this cybersecurity event again, October 30th. That is a Tuesday at History Colorado. Be sure to sign up for that at COBRT.com/events. You'll find that right on the bottom of the October calendar there. You can register there. What else does CSU Global have going on that you would like to tell people about?
We are continuing to build certificate programs that allow people to take 4 or 5 courses and be eligible for federal financial aid, Pell Grant funds, and to stack those certificates into degrees. And so we've started this about 1.5 years ago and have been very successful in attracting the type of student who wants to upskill or who knows that they just need certain knowledge and to move themselves forward into a job or into a new career. And so we are continuing to invest a lot of time and thought into allowing for short bursts of education when people have the time. You know, we have 8-week compressed sections, and we're starting a 6-week org leadership program at the master's level. So each course will be 6 weeks so that we can offer more flexibility, even more than Global currently offers, but adaptability to what we see as this changing need of education in the workforce, that I know the best of what higher ed can bring, but can we do this in a way that works for working professionals in the workplace? And so these new formats of stackability, of different course length, should be a great experiment into, is it working and is it helpful, and are people finding a return on investment of that time and money?
Yes, I love that actually. So you can stack your certificates and get a degree with that?
Yes.
What an innovative thought. I didn't realize that you guys had been working on that.
Well, we've had them, but we've started just these new certificates that are eligible for Title IV funding.
Gotcha.
That was about 1.5 years ago. And now it's being able to show people, because we thought that they would understand, and now we've got it down to a science. Yesterday, in fact, as early as yesterday, we just met to really lay all the different variations out. We figured we need to do better road mapping, and all that will be released officially in January everything's available now, but those are longer conversations, and our busy students don't want to spend necessarily that amount of time understanding it. But in fact, if you look at our website, you'll see the certificate listings. Those are the ones that you can then stack into degrees. So you'll see them individually listed, and it would just be a discussion with the student advisor on how we stack all the way to a degree.
I love that.
So, and then in January, we'll actually have all the templates out so that people have better roadmaps and they can look at that on their own time. We find our students do a lot of work on their own. They prefer to be more self-help. But if you're interested in now, if you'd like to move forward yourself, then it's just a call to a student advisor and we can walk you through how that works.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Becky. It's always a pleasure to have you on, and we appreciate all the great compliments about being on the board and how we can help you and CSU Global be what you want to be, right?
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Have a great day. Be sure to like and subscribe our YouTube page while you're here. Find this podcast and more at cobrt.com/radio-podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.